Good afternoon. My name is Juan Jesús Garcia, and I am with the University of Alcalá. I am academic leader of EUGLOH Work Package 2, and it is my pleasure on behalf of Work Package 2 to welcome you all to this new edition of the Spotlight on Education seminar. Our topic today is applying Forsyth funding for academic staff, development and training. So the use of the expression seed funding is always interesting and appealing, so hope that is of your interest. Before introducing our speaker today, I would like to thank all the people that have made possible this event, namely Lorena Silos and Ana Giosos from University of Alcalá, and Sarah Bedman from Lund University. Sarah today is also in charge of making everything work technically. Having said that, our speakers are Ana Alvarelhão from University of Porto and Rachel Forsyth from Lund University. Anna is involved in all the administrative issues of the call, and Rachel is a senior educational developer. The three of us have participated in the drafting of the call, but from different perspectives. So we believe that we will be able to provide adequate information about it and answer any question that may arise. Before starting, I would like to remind you that we are recording this webinar. So please, Anna, could you introduce the call and the main aspects related to it?
Yes, thank you for that, Jean Reru. So I will share my screen first. I will try to sum up the topics that you could find on the call information. I'm sure you're seeing my screen right now. I will put it in presentation mode. So in terms of the purpose and objectives of this call, this seed funding its purpose is to support the development of joint innovative training opportunities for academic staff within our EUGLOH Alliance. As you could have seen, our objectives, and you can see our objectives include promoting pedagogical innovation, enhancing teaching staff capacity, encouraging, of course, collaborations in our alliance, facilitating this exchange of best practices, and supporting curricular development. We also aim to prepare academics for digital and green transitions, and of course contributing to Europe's recovery and resilience. The funding for this call is a total of 60,000, but each project can receive up to 6,000 plus travel, accommodation, and subsistence for up to 3 meetings. The lump sum support will be paid according to the home institution's procedures, and the funded projects must recognize EU support and follow Erasmus Plus guidelines when preparing material. And it's important to note that double funding is not allowed, of course. So in terms of eligible topics, the training opportunities should focus on student-centered pedagogical methods, universal design of learning and teaching in the inclusive classroom, flexible teaching and learning, and even innovative English training for academics. In terms of target groups, the target groups for these training opportunities include senior academics with more experience in delivering higher education training, junior academics with less than 5 years experience, and PhD students involved in teaching and learning in higher education. This training should be designed for participants from all EUGLOH partner universities, of course. And in terms of eligible activities, we include here holding meetings to develop the selected projects, organizing virtual workshops or seminars, and even attending events or conference to gather information for developing these training activities. In terms of expected outputs, we expect outputs such as curricula, courses, modules, resources related to these courses, work plans, dissemination materials and joint procedures for application, admission, and evaluation, and other relevant outputs that of course align with the program's goals are also encouraged. In terms of eligibility, to be eligible, the primary and or co-applicants must have a link to one of the 9 EUGLOH partner universities. Applications must include at least 2 academic staff or researchers from different EUGLOH partner universities. And of course, they must be submitted in English through the online form that you have available on the website. Collaboration with external stakeholders is allowed, but external organizations cannot receive funding. So moving on to eligible costs, these include expenses for meetings, workshops, or seminars, also travel, accommodation, and subsistence for up to 3 meetings, like I said. Also, we have here staff effort for creating these pedagogical materials, consumables and supplies, promotional materials, and even conference fees. In terms of the award criteria, for the award criteria, we include here the relevance of pedagogical innovation, the degree of pedagogical change and capacity building, expected impact on participants, feasibility and sustainability of the project, and quality of partnership and communication, added value for EUGLOH's multicultural campus, and the involvement of various disciplines. So a minimum, as you can see, a minimum score of 17 points is required. So this was it for the award criteria. Moving on finally for the timeline. So I'll finish up my part of this webinar with a timeline for the seed funding process. The deadline for submission of proposals is the 16th of December, 2024. The validation and evaluation period will take place from the 2nd of January to the 31st of January of 2025. The results will be communicated to applicants by the 15th of February 2025. And the project's implementation period should run from the 3rd of March of 2025 to the 1st of December of 2025. And a progress report is expected by the 31st of July 2025, and the final report must be submitted by the 19th of December 2025. So yes, I pass the word to the academics.
Okay, thank you very much, Anna. Thank you for your presentation. I think it's very clear. So, well, before starting our discussion about this topic, I would like to remind the audience that you may ask questions. So please use the Q&A section. I will ask the question to the person involved, no? Maybe Rachel or myself or Anna in this case. Well, so interesting call. I think very appealing for academics to try to prepare some activity related to innovation, pedagogics. But Rachel, you are an expert in this field. So do you have a good example about what we can do here?
I mean, I think there are lots of exciting areas that people could develop. I've got an idea here. Do you want me to tell you a bit about it? Do you want me to tell you about my idea?
Yes, of course, of course. So,
well, I was thinking that we could put something in about the inclusive classroom and universal design for learning. And the tagline would be how to improve your EUGLOH courses. What do you think?
It sounds very strange for me, so it seems to be interesting. You say universal design learning, inclusive classroom. Can you try to explain a little bit more what does it mean?
Well, universal design for learning is an approach, a technique that gives people a sort of checklist, I guess, for thinking about diverse needs in the classroom. So that could be to do with disabilities, or it could be to do with cultural things, because what we want to encourage with our EUGLOH courses is that students can participate and feel welcome, whatever their previous background has been, what their first language is. And so I was thinking that, maybe that's something we could provide more support for teachers for. So we could produce a training program and some resources that will help teachers to check that they're thinking about these things when they're designing their partnership courses. So later on, my understanding, and you can correct me, is that this seed funding is to help teachers to develop. So it's for us to provide resources for teachers to develop. Is that right?
Well, I think so, but maybe Anna can share with us her opinion. Do you think, Anna, that this topic can be relevant for this call, or it's not exactly what we are looking for here in this task?
Yes, I think it's very relevant. I think it's aligned with our purpose of developing joint innovative training for academic staff within the EUGLOH Alliance. So yes, I would say yes.
Oh,
Yes,
that's great.
I think so. So you know that, well, I don't know if you mentioned, but there is a selection committee that they have to analyze the proposal, and maybe the question is to convince them that the Rachel proposal is good enough. So, but as far as I understood, Anna said that we need a partner for applying. So, Rachel, do you have a partner for this idea that you have in mind? A partner from a different university, of course, not from you.
Of course. Sort of. Yeah, I made a few contacts with people, but I think it would be really good if we could talk to each other a little bit about who's interested in this area. And I know it's something that gets discussed. So although it's hard to find partners in this kind of alliance when you start moving into detail, but in this case, I think what I was planning to do was contact all of the teaching and learning units, the pedagogical units that are involved with EUGLOH or in each of the universities, because we now have a really nice map of those as well, which University of Porto has produced. And I would go through them and say, does anybody want to partner on this? So that we can divide up the specialisms a little bit. So these kind of courses we might look at, how do we use assistive technologies? That could be one area, or we could look at how do we make a course accessible? It might be things like somebody really understands about subtitling on videos, or the dreaded word of icebreakers, but introducing people so that we get a sense, the students, of what they're bringing, all those kind of things. So I think my plan is to contact the teaching and learning units in the other 8 universities quite quickly, because we've only got a few weeks, and get them to do that. What do you think?
Well, it sounds really good, but speaking from a different point of view, because maybe Rachel, you have a lot of connection because you are really involved in tax 2, and you know more or less the scheme of each university, and you know the unit where you can ask for. But Anna, in this case, can we provide some support to these colleagues that are asking? For example, one of my colleagues here is saying, is Alcalá going to provide some support for this? So, but maybe the same question can be pushed on, Porto or Novi Sad or Szeged. So, can you tell us if you are going to provide some support to the people that are looking for partners, but they don't have a partner yet?
Yes, of course. So we have provided the EUGLOH email addresses on the seed funding call, on the PDF documents. You can also, so for these partner searches, we would recommend you contact your local EUGLOH office. Of course, it is a very good idea also that Rachel had of going directly to the pedagogical innovation offices. I think if you don't get an answer for them, going through the EUGLOH units at each of our partner universities using their email addresses is also a good way for you to quickly find partners, because we, at least at Porto, we work in helping our academic staff finding these partners. So it is a good way to use this EUGLOH network for this.
Thank you, Anna. Rachel, do you have anything else to add to?
No, and as Anna said, for this particular call, going through the pedagogical units should work, because this particular call is for supporting teachers directly, and so that should be the best way forward. But otherwise, you can go to faculties that are similar. Nobody minds being asked. They might not all reply. Everybody's busy, but I think we could do that. And I think Mario's put the question in the Q&A as well about this that you mentioned. So how would somebody go directly to, for example, from Alcalá? How would they approach it from your point of view?
From our point of view, it was as Anna said. So
yeah,
he can ask our local office email, and with this email we are going to, here in Alcalá, what we are doing is try to disseminate all these activities. We ask them to email us and with their idea, and we try to look for partners. So, but I think it's a good idea what you say to contact with the pedagogical innovation units in each university, instead of going exactly to the communication officer, because sometimes we go to the communication officer and they disseminate the email, but maybe it's better that we go directly to this unit. So, but Rachel, but okay, you have this idea that I find quite interesting. As far as I see now in the chat, people find very interesting your idea. But okay, you are preparing your application, but have you planned any physical meeting or online meetings because for people, maybe only for clarifying, we have this call is for developing the project. A different thing is the implementation. So now this call is for developing the project, to get partners and to prepare the idea. So Rachel, have you planned some physical meetings for this?
Yes, and everybody's very busy. So I think the best approach will be if we start off with a meeting together with partners. I think maybe we're just looking for 2 partners right now, but maybe if someone else is interested, we could have 4. But I think we should start with like a 2-day, I'm going to call it a boot camp, where we work really intensively generating ideas. And by the end of the 2 days, we have a detailed work plan, so that we've divided the work up for ourselves. And maybe we've thought about anybody else that we want to involve as well. We might have thought of things. And then we're going to have online meetings every 3 or 4 weeks for the rest of the period. Then we should have a final meeting just to tidy everything up, and maybe to test the materials with some colleagues. That would be really good. But my understanding is that the travel and the accommodation we pay for that from EUGLOH in our individual universities. So we can apply for that funding slightly separately.
So I see in the chat that several of our attendees today are interested in this idea that you are proposing, but I would like to remind that there are other ideas can be, or we can apply for funding for other different ideas, not only this one. So this one is an example that Rachel is working on, but there are other, of course. And if you are not sure about your idea, please email us, and we'll try to accommodate the idea in the call, no? Because sometimes maybe we have the call has a lot of wording that sometimes we are a bit confused with some expression. But you plan physical meetings, Rachel, but only with €6,000? Can you cover all these meetings that you are planning? Or Anna, with €6,000 is enough for this meeting, or do you have extra funding for the meetings?
Sorry, I'm not sure if I understood correctly.
No, yes,
but
I can react to my question. So I mean that as far as I know, we have 6,000 euros for the project, but
exactly.
Rachel is planning to have physical meetings, and you know, physical mobility is very expensive. So my question is, we need to organize our budget thinking about this physical mobility in this 6,000 euros.
So no, so it's extra. It's additional funding. You can receive up to 6,000 euros for your project. For example, like I said, staff effort and other costs, eligible costs. But the funding for these physical meetings would be an additional funding that is additional to these 6,000 euros, like I said. So it's funding for travel, accommodation, and subsistence, and it's for up to 3 meetings. You can have 1, 2, 3, or even 0, but it's additional funding. You don't need to include this when you're budgeting the 6,000 euros.
Oh, that's fantastic. No, because 6,000 is not enough, I see, for the physical mobility. And depending on the partners, of course, as well, because maybe Porto and Alcalá can be okay, but between Porto and Tromsø can be a big issue, this. So, but Anna, you said that we can have 1, 2, or 3 or no meeting or any meetings. So what does it mean? When we are preparing our application, do we have to forecast our meetings, this physical meeting, or we need to include in the application?
Yes, exactly. So while you're planning or preparing your application proposal, you should include how many meetings, physical in-person meetings you'll have, not virtual. We're talking here about in-person meetings. So we can also be prepared to cover through the EUGLOH 2.0 budget and see how we can support this and help you prepare for these travels. It is I'm not sure if you've checked the application form yet, but you'll see that we ask there in which locations will be the in-person meetings and how many of these meetings will there be and how many people will be traveling to these locations for the in-person meetings.
Okay, so thank you.
So can I just ask you,
yes.
Anna, there was one of the questions, Anna, was whether the people who are working on the project must be the same as the candidates for the call, so the experienced teachers or the less experienced teachers or the, forgotten what the other one was, or can we have expert guests apart from the candidates? I think it's probably yes if the expert guests work in the university.
Yes, I would say so. So I mean, if they are involved in the development of the proposal, I would say there is no problem in having them also attending these meetings.
Thank you.
Okay. So I would like to revisit again the Rachel project because she is playing the idea, but one thing that is important for the selection committee is the outcomes of the project. So how you plan your outcomes? Do you have any idea about what you can produce for EUGLOH with this project?
Well, I think we need some online materials, and so like a short self-study course so that people understand the basics of these practices, being inclusive. And that can be a bit challenging, to be honest, because we all use different systems. So we have to find a way to share that material. But I think the main things will also be some templates that people can use to check that they're covering everything they need to cover. Maybe a checklist, that's always useful for some people like them. And maybe some video tutorials, ideally with some students. Maybe I'm being too ambitious because we don't have that much, but what do you think?
Well, I think it's better to be ambitious now. So, no, of course, the more the better, no, I think at the end. So the question is that if you will have time for developing the project, do you think that you have enough time from March to November to implement your idea?
I think so. I think so. And to do a little bit of testing. Yes, I think so. Because we have partners who are motivated and committed. And we won't try to do too much in that time. We'll try to be sensible. If we end up doing more, that's always good. So I think those things are possible to do if we're quite strict with ourselves and divide up the work neatly. That's probably the important thing.
So then imagine that in the time that you say you develop the idea, and now you expect that you implement the idea. When do you imagine that you are lucky, you get the funding and you start working on the project, developing the project? Do you have a plan for implementing the project? So as a kind of course or another different activity?
Yeah, I think we should be able to test it thoroughly in the autumn next year and then write up the evaluation. We could maybe look at the timeline again. But then it should be generally available to everybody from 2026. That's my hope anyway. So yeah, I've got a timeline. I mean, I could show you my timeline. What am I planning to do? Oh, sorry, I did it on another piece of paper. But I've got a plan.
Yeah. Yes, I know that you always have a plan. So some people from the audience, Ingrid Cardenas, she's asking if the project has a maximum number of hours. So I don't know what to say here because I don't know. Do you have any idea about the implementation? It should be a long project, a lot of hours, or
there's
some
only
days?
6,000 euros, right? So we can't allocate that many hours to it unless we donate them separately, which could be possible. And the second part of the question, Ingrid's question, is does it provide certificates? That could be up to the individual university, I would say. So EUGLOH won't offer a certificate. But if you get staff development time for completing such a course, then that could be done in each individual university. That's probably what I would be thinking of doing. Yeah.
Yes, well, one thing that we can, I don't know, it depends on each university, but in the case of Alcalá, I think that we are going to recommend this, when we implement this project, maybe we can recommend our staff training service to disseminate this type of course for academics, because the idea is our public are academics in this case. So, well, I think Ashley is helping a lot with some of the questions. So thank you very much, Ashley, for your help. So if you have any question related to the where can I find the link for the application, blah, blah. So you can email the local team in each university that they will provide support with all this issue, because sometimes the web page is a bit difficult to find all, because this morning we were discussing that we have a lot of activities. So sometimes it's a bit difficult to find the one that we are interested in. So I'm going checking if there are more questions.
So Vesna said they were interested in this project. I've got to admit, this is just a made-up project for us to talk about today. But I'm happy to share all the details, and we could certainly pick it up and do it as a real project.
Okay. So maybe we can, I think more or less all the questions are answered. I'm not sure, but more or less, I think, because there are other questions that people that are interested in participating in this kind of idea. So this is really good. Some of it is a different issue, not for discussing here, but maybe for trying to make the contacts between the proposer, Rachel or whoever, and people interested in this idea. So, but speaking about people that can apply for a project, Anna, who is eligible to apply for this funding? Any person connected to the university, or is there a special requirement?
Yes, so like we've presented, it needs to be people that have this contractual link to one of the 9 EUGLOH partner universities. This could be academic staff, administrative or technical staff, can be applicants to support the development of these projects. And also, of course, these applications can have collaborations with external stakeholders. But like I said, they cannot receive funding, so they would be it will be a different partnership. I was also writing an answer to one of the questions, so maybe I can also say it now, if that's okay.
Yes.
Marisa Matias was asking how to check if other partners of EUGLOH are interested in specific topics. So we would suggest to send these ideas to your EUGLOH local office, a brief description, so it can be easy that to contact our other the other EUGLOH units with this proposal and try to match up and even do here a matchup between institutions, so they can also help us do this. Another idea would be that you also write here a brief description. I see that some people are already sharing their contacts and showing interest in collaborating, so maybe you could also use these emails to try to find out if they would be interested, and if they are, they can reply to you in the chat to collaborate with these projects.
Well, thank you, Anna. So Margarida Enriquez, she says that, do you know if in the next year we will have the same opportunity to apply for 2026? We don't know exactly now. We don't know because 2026 is the last year of the project. So, isn't it?
I would say, it is a short deadline. Put something in. And I also think that we probably will look out for projects that have similar themes, and maybe see if we can encourage people to work together. So the application form is quite short. So, there should be time. Yeah, so I was going to answer the other question.
Yes, but what you have said is quite interesting, because you say, okay, imagine that you are the selection committee realizes that there are several projects that are not quite similar, but maybe with the same approach or similar approach. Maybe the selection committee can recommend them to work together, as you said. So it can be because it seems that there are only 4 main topics, but each topic there is room for a lot of different projects. So coming back to some admin issues, Anna. So can you remind us how minimum? Do you think that if we cover only the minimum partners or only an additional partner is enough, or is better to try to collaborate with more partners for this call, or think this, or even if there is a previous collaboration between partners, can be good for the selection committee for being eligible, no, or to consider their project that can be better than other. What do you think about this?
I think the quality of the proposal could be it could be good quality with just 2 partners or more. I don't think it depends on this. Of course, for this call, we ask for a minimum of 2 partners, 2 different EUGLOH partner universities, but you could do more. As long as you feel you are able to work with more than 2. We also always welcome these type of applications that involve more than 2 partners, because I think it's good to start a collaboration like this.
Yes.
Just to add to that, the quality of your communication is part of the criteria. So you need to make sure that you can work with them. Margarita's put a question in, which is a good one. They want to develop training on doctoral courses and supervision of PhDs. So this would fit under the topics only if you used student-centered pedagogical methods or teaching the inclusive classroom or flexible teaching and learning. So there isn't a particular heading for teaching doctoral students here. We're having we zoomed out a little bit from the detail of the EUGLOH, but I think this might fit under a different group's funding arrangements. Our group is mostly about development of teachers, and techniques for teaching. What do you think, Juan Jesus?
Yes, I think you are right. I think was our colleague was asking maybe it's connected to work package 3, I think, but I'm not completely sure because, but in this case, we are thinking about what you said about academic staff training. No, is the idea to try to improve our teaching, and as I think, as Anna mentioned, there are 3 levels. No, senior teacher, we call here teachers, senior academics, junior academics, PhD students that are collaborating in teaching. More or less are the target groups, isn't it, Anna?
Yes, you're totally right. I guess I was looking at the proposal that Margarita wrote here, and she mentions that it's to develop training to the academic staff for doctoral courses. So perhaps it could fit in this call. I'm not. Yeah, I would need to read up a bit more on it, but
okay.
I think it's a great idea, and it would be really good to see doctoral supervisors talking to each other across the alliance. But this may not be quite the right call. You need to read it carefully and make a proposal that fits within this call. But it could be a really good way of getting to know some other people who want to do that work. So do try and do that.
One colleague, Omar de la Cruz, is asking if we can share the slide, the PPT. So the PPT is a summary of the call, so we have no problem with that. In addition to that, I think we are going to try to prepare a FAQ with this PPT and the common question that we have discussed today here. So, but just in case you have any other question, please don't hesitate to email, because we are local teams, EUGLOH local teams are very happy to collaborate, because we are making the effort with this call, and we want to start this kind of collaboration related to innovation, teaching innovation or innovation pedagogy. So so don't hesitate to ask if you need more help. So Anna, again, some admin issues. What kind of support documentation is required from each partner? So each applicant, they have to prepare, because Rachel, I think Rachel has prepared this very well, because she said, no, the application is very short, it's easy. So, but from the point of view of the admin issues, so do we have to prepare a lot of documentation or not?
Well, the form is quite simple. Then there's a project plan, which is 2 pages, and then your CVs, 2 pages each. That could be the problem, making it 2 pages. So it's got to be very concise. And then the budget, but that is a separate annex, but that's obviously going to be quite short unless you've got very many ways of spending 6,000 euros. I think that'll be quite short. So the project plan will have the background, the objectives, the methods, description, the timeline of the project, and the expected results. It's going to be short for each of those sections. We're not looking for a huge amount of detail. And the CV should be as short as it can be, to show that you have some experience of doing this kind of work with teachers, or for teachers at least. So yes, it shouldn't take too long, I don't think, once you've got an idea. The challenging bit will be what you've highlighted, which is finding partners who think like you.
Exactly. But just to add to that, Rachel, if you allow me, also we ask in the application to include a letter of support from the higher education institutions of all applicants that are involved in the proposal. And like you said, the detailed project proposal. Yeah.
So one of the message that I am reading here from the audience is that, oh, I have this idea. If you are interested, email me. So I'll say the opposite. If you have one idea, please email us. I mean, email your local EUGLOH team, because your local EUGLOH team can disseminate your idea. So here there are, as I see, around 50 people only. So, but maybe people that are interested in participating are not here. So Bruno, I get your idea, but if you wish to participate, please email me with your idea and we'll try to help you. I'm saying Bruno in this case because Bruno is from Alcalá, but I said the same. I saw the same with other colleagues. Um, so I have another other question. Maybe I don't know if you have the answer or not. Maybe Rachel or Anna, but uh, can a project, for example, focus on a single pedagogical method, or should it be more comprehensive, more open, more? Or that can be good or can be a mistake? Or it's better to focus on only one idea?
I think these are quite small projects, so will probably help you to complete it within the time, but also make it easier for you to fit onto 2 pages what you want to do. That'd be my advice. Keep a fairly narrow focus.
Imagine now that you get the project. Well, imagine you get the project. No, imagine that you are planning or writing the application, and you think that you are going to get the funding. Do you think there is a favorite format for the training activities for the implementation, online, hybrid, blended, or physical? Or do you think this is not very relevant in this case?
I would say that anything could work. However, you need to think about the practicality of it, of running something afterwards across 9 universities. So I would say that I'd expect to see some online resources of some kind, and probably virtual activities. But I think there could be situations where we can have face-to-face trainings later. So I think you just need to use your imagination, but think about how many people you want to reach, which we're hoping you want to reach a lot of people, and that means probably lots of online material. I don't know if you can quite happily disagree with me on that.
No, I think it's better to focus on one idea at the end. I think because, as you say, it's a small project. It's not a big project, and the idea is to develop and, if possible, to implement. So, but for the implementation, it's a different call. So we'll hear about that in the future because there are different formats for the implementation at the end. So there is here another admin issue. It's about the timeline. So for the project implementation, Anna, do you think that the timeline for the project implementation or development will be development, not implementation, will be flexible, do you think, or is a hard deadline to finish the project before December? I think it's a hard deadline, but I don't know your opinion.
Yes, I would say it is. We need to finish by December. But since you brought it up, I would also like to clarify that we're talking about project implementation here, but the project here is developing a course. So let's try not to, I guess, get confused by this. I guess it could get confusing, but when we talk about project implementation, we're talking about developing a course. So we're not talking about implementing the course. But yes, the timeline, like I said, would be from the 3rd of March of 2025 to the 1st of December. And then you would need to work on the project final report that you need to submit to us by the 19th of December of next year.
Okay, so I think so. I'm sorry for the use of the implementation because it's development. We are here it's a call for developing a project, a course. We call project in this case, but it's a kind of course for training for staff training in the academics in this case. And the idea is when you finish the development, next step is to implement this idea. Is the concept behind this. Well, so Anna, and when we going to hear about the result? So because okay, imagine that Rachel is going to propose one idea. I think I'm going to propose one different. So we are going to be in competition. But when we'll know if we are these selected winners, because we have only maximum of 10 projects, I think.
Yes, you're right. So the validation and evaluation period it will be on our side from the 2nd of January to the 31st of January 2025. We will then, you'll hear from us on the 15th of February 2025. We'll communicate to all applicants the results, even if you're not selected, so you'll hear from us. Yeah, this will be the date that you'll hear from us.
Okay, I think can be a good idea, Anna, if you display again the timeline, because we are speaking about timeline, and maybe it can be better for the audience to see all the dates here in one slide. Yes, here you have. So this was Anna was mentioning exactly this. So I think, as we have mentioned before, the deadline for submitting the proposal is very short, only 1 month, more or less. But here, I think, as Rachel said, it's quite simple, the application, what we have to do now. But maybe the main problem is to find a partner. So then, if this is your problem, please contact your local EUGLOH team, because they will try to help you to find a partner, an appropriate partner for your idea. So I don't know if there are more questions from the audience, or if Rachel or Anna, do you want to add more information? Because I think more like we have covered the whole, I think the whole call, no? Because the call has different parts, but more like we have covered everything. I don't know, Anna, you think that something is missing?
I don't think so. I was checking the Q&A to see if we have any other questions. I see that someone, yeah, Marisa asked also where they can find the application form content. We would recommend to try out the form, to fill in the questions there with the test answers, and then to see all the content of this form so you can move forward. I'm not sure there is like a PDF file of this application form content. We can provide it to you. So if you write to us, we can also send you this, but you can test the form and see which content is there, is being asked there.
And maybe I'll just pick up that second question from Marisa. Yeah, this is always a challenge when we're talking about developing courses. Is it so? The impact it's a bit of both, Marisa. So it's both the proposal's got to work. So we have to believe that that you have the ideas in place to make that happen. Yeah, with your timelines and so on. But also, it needs to be something that will benefit the whole EUGLOH community, as far a lot of the EUGLOH community. So we're going to be looking at both those things in the criteria. I'm just looking at the criteria again now, and sorry, both of those things are important, so it's good to mention them. I'm just trying to find the exact process, sorry, the criteria. So I would say it's about half and half probably for the process of doing it and the potential impact probably overall. So both important.
Maybe Anna can share again the slide with the criteria, the work criteria. I don't know if it can be useful for Marisa. I don't know. You have the slide there, Anna? This one. Yes.
Yes, and I also would like to add that in terms of which type of indicators will be evaluated here, we provide a few examples on the call. Sorry, awards criteria. Okay, so we provide a few examples of this on the call text. So we talk about the number of academic staff of the partner universities that are involved in the development phase. We also talk about satisfaction surveys that we do to the staff regarding the development process, and also peer review, and feedback, on the quality and relevance of this curriculum content that you are proposing. So these could be examples of the expected impact of this proposal that you're doing.
Perfect. So I don't know if there is any other question from the audience that we can answer now, or if not, you can email us, of course, because we'll be very happy to answer all your questions. To have more than one team. Faculties, so Margarida, faculty from the same university will benefit the proposal and will count as two different. I'm not sure that I understand the question. So
no, we need to have two different universities involved.
Two different universities, exactly.
Yeah.
Two partners. When we mean two partners, it means two different universities. So, but can participate more, and even more people from the same university from different areas, because multidisciplinarity is a good point as well. Is an added value for the project. So, but at least two partners. Well, I think we have no more question. Maybe we don't have anything else to add. So again, Anna, you moved to the last slide about the timeline. Yes, this one only as a reminder. Yes, Sasa, the webinar is recorded, so don't worry. But just in case you have any question, email us. Well, I think we are going to finish here. So I don't know if you have any other thing to say, Rachel and Anna, but if not, we can finish today and only expect to have a lot of emails about this issue, because as we said at the very beginning, we are eager to get applicants, to get good projects, and of course to run this project. So the development of the project, and then next year the implementation. So it's what we want to have. Well, thanks again to our speaker for this interesting discussion. Thank you very much, Rachel, for your interesting idea that you have now some colleagues that want to work with you. Anna, thanks again for all the admin behind this, because there are a lot of details. I know that you are going to clarify any other question that can arise in the short future, because we have only 1 month. So we hope you have enjoyed this idea, and you like this new proposal that we have here in Work Package 2. Thank you a lot for your attendance, and see you soon. Bye bye.